Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment's 32 teams, 32 days, and today we are talking about the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of people expecting the Cowboys to take a step back this season. I am one of those people, but I still have a lot of faith in this football team. I still think they're going to end up being a Super Bowl contender indeed. We're going to talk about this team, look at their strengths, weaknesses, give you some bold predictions, give you a fantasy outlook, and get out of here with a win-loss prediction for the Dallas Cowboys. Remember to head over to sportsfanentertainment.com for the article previewing the Dallas Cowboys. The link to that article will be down in the description box below. So we're talking Dallas Cowboys today. We're talking strengths. Let's start with, obviously, their offensive line. What an offensive line in Dallas. Now, it lost an important piece in Doug Free at the right tackle position. But now La'el Collins is going to move from left guard to right tackle. And I personally feel this may be a better fit for La'el Collins. Remember, he played tackle coming out of LSU when he came out of, I want to say, the 2015 or 16 NFL draft. And they ended up moving him to guard where he would sometimes struggle. Now at tackle, I think he may have a more natural fit there. I like that move. Now the left guard position has become open, and it appears as if Jonathan Cooper will fill that void. Don't love that, but your other three offensive linemen are great, each of them being top 3 at their respective positions. Tyron Smith at the left tackle position, he's top 3 to me. Some of you would argue he's number 1. You look at the center position, Travis Frederick, I think he's the best center in the league. Look at right guard, Zach Martin. This guy's a top 3 right guard in the NFL. Some would argue the best right guard in the NFL. Either way, these 3 lead the way. So even if the right tackle position and the left guard may be a bit of a question mark, hey, when you have 3 Pro Bowl offensive linemen, 3 All-Pro offensive linemen, I think you're going to be all right in Dallas, and I think this offensive line is definitely a strength in Dallas. How about the running backs in Dallas? Ezekiel Elliott leading the way. How wrong I was on Ezekiel Elliott. I didn't think he was going to be that much of a game changer in the NFL. I was wrong on that. I didn't think he was going to be a bust. I just thought he was going to be like Lamar Miller. And he's been much better than that. Over 1,600 yards. His rookie season, he was superb. And then behind him, you still have Alfred Morris. Okay, you can come in and do something. Really wasn't great last year, though, as a backup running back. I want to see a little more from Alfred Morris this upcoming season. To me, there was a big drop-off whenever Elliott was not in the game. Same goes for Darren McFadden. They also signed Ronnie Hillman, who to me is pretty washed up, so I'm not expecting much from this guy. But still, the running backs are a big strength when you have Ezekiel Elliott leading the way, and Alfred Morris does have a nice track record to back up his play. Look at the quarterback position, and yes, it is a strength to me. And I am a fan, a proponent, a fanboy of Dak Prescott. I was wrong on Ezekiel Elliott before the draft. I was right on Dak Prescott. I gave the Cowboys an A for drafting Prescott, and he proved me right last season. 23 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Guys, this guy is a strength for the football team. Now, he could have a sophomore slump, but to me, there's so much Russell Wilson in this guy. He's not RG3. He's not Colin Kaepernick. He's Russell Wilson, maybe a little bit more in terms of his rookie season being legitimate, being only a taste of what is to come, and him not being a sophomore slump candidate. I think Dak Prescott is a strength for this football team. He's a leader for this football team. I think this guy is tremendous. He's not going to have the same touchdown interception ratio, but to me, he's going to throw for more yards, throw for more touchdowns, and overall be a more impactful quarterback in his sophomore season. I will bet on Dak Prescott. We move on to this team's weaknesses, and we're going to start with their defensive tackles. The Cowboy fans are real interesting because if you talk to them, they don't have one weakness on their football team. So let's get ready to disagree. We start with Malik Collins. I don't love Malik Collins. Now, he was a rookie last year out of Nebraska, and he still has a lot of potential, and he wasn't bad, but I don't think he's very good yet. So to me, he's not great. You also have Cedric Thornton, whom I don't love at the defensive tackle position. Behind those guys, you have Stephen Paye, who's getting older at this point. But also have guys like Richard Ash and David Irving, if he's able to play. Now, David Irving, he had a nice game last year. Like, I think it was a primetime game. He was playing well, got a couple sacks, but I'm not buying into this guy being a mainstay for this football team. You know, to me, you really want to get a big-time defensive tackle in here this upcoming, after this season. You know, that's what I look for the Cowboys to do, because they just don't have a big force down there unless Malik Collins takes a big step forward. We also look at the cornerbacks, and to me they're a weakness, but they could be quite good, right? But for now they're a weakness, because when your best cornerback today is Anthony Brown or Orlando Scandrick, your cornerback position is not great. Both of those guys are okay. Scandrick is good in the slot, so as a slot corner, okay, he's good. Anthony Brown was decent as a rookie, okay, maybe he'll improve, but those are your best cornerbacks, really. Now, you have two rookies coming in. You have Jordan Lewis coming in, Chidobe Awuzie coming in, but those two are second and third round picks. I mean, you can't just tell me, well, it's okay, everything's okay, because we have a second and third round pick coming in, and they're gonna fix this entire position for us. I mean, maybe, but I can't completely buy that yet. You also have Nolan Carroll, and come on, Cowboy fans, you know he's not good, because y'all were talking trash about Nolan Carroll all season. Y'all love to tell Eagles fans how bad he is, and then now that you have him, he's great. No, come on, he's not very good. So for right now, the cornerbacks not very good for the Dallas Cowboys. We look at the positions that to me are neither strengths nor weaknesses. Now, I know some Cowboy fans will disagree, but this is fine. We start with the tight end position. Yes, Jason Witten, okay? Look, to me, I mean, he's still very reliable, okay? You know, if you throw to Witten, he's probably going to come down with the ball. But behind him, there's just nothing, right? So if you have Jason Witten, who's getting older, and behind him you have nothing, you have maybe developmental projects and Rico Gathers, I just can't buy into your tight end position. I just can't do it. Other guys, you look at the wide receivers, okay, Dez Bryant, I think he's kind of declining. You know, last season, he missed some games, he came in, he got some nice touchdowns, but was he the dominant Dez of 2014? No. So, I mean, I don't know about Dez being a top 5 wide receiver anymore. I mean, is he top 10? I think so, but I'm not sure about that. Look at Cole Beasley, okay? Played really well last year, okay? And he's pretty good, but he ain't great. No one's, you know, staying up at night saying, oh my God, I'm so afraid I have to guard Cole Beasley tomorrow, right? Look at Terrence Williams. To me, he's a disappointment in this league. I mean, he's resigned with this team. He's going to stick around, but I expected him to become a number 2 wide receiver for this team and be really consistent, and he just hasn't been. Like, he plays the Z position, and, you know, I guess that's cute, but Cole Beasley gets more targets than this guy. He's a number 4 option in this offense, maybe number 5, you could even argue at times. To me, he's been a disappointment since he's been drafted. And Bryce Butler, you know, this guy's decent, but, you know, he's a number 4, right? That's what he is. You drafted Ryan Switzer out of North Carolina, and Cowboy fans, like, y'all just love talking about your late round picks. I don't know what to buy out of any of them. Let's see what he does in the preseason tomorrow in the Hall of Fame game. I did like Switzer out of North Carolina, but I want to see what he actually does. Because Cowboy fans, y'all just love talking about training camp too much, to the point where if you tell me Ryan Switzer's doing this in training camp and doing that, I don't really care. Like, Cowboy fans, they talk like, hey, you know what Jalen Smith did today? He jumped in the air. Wow, we're winning a Super Bowl. This is the Cowboy fan philosophy, so I can't buy into any of the training camp headlines out of Cowboys camp. We move on to the linebackers, and I wanted to say strength. But speaking of Jalen Smith, we don't know what we're going to get out of Jalen Smith quite yet. I loved Jalen Smith coming out of Notre Dame, but the injury, of course, had to drop him down my big board. He's great. I mean, at least he was a great college player. We'll see what he can do in the NFL after not having played for over a year. Sean Lee, fantastic. Anthony Hitchens, don't love him. You also have Wilbur, Kyle Wilbur. Don't love him. Okay, so the linebackers to me could certainly be a strength. I just couldn't say. Safeties, Byron Jones, love him. Oh my God, I love Byron Jones with the free safety position. I think this guy's going to really solidify himself as one of the top free safeties in the NFL this year. Next to him, now you have Jeff Heath, okay, who in limited play has been decent, but he ain't great, right? He was behind Barry Church and the other guy, I can't remember his name now, J.J. Wilcox, for a certain reason, right? If they're the third strong safety on the depth chart, you're probably not very good. Okay, so I'm not really optimistic about Jeff Heath's future prospects this upcoming season, so the safeties cannot be a strength for me. We move on to the fantasy outlook for this football team. Dak Prescott breaks 4,000 passing yards, 26 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. So yes, interceptions do go up, but so do the touchdowns, so do the passing yards. He takes on a bigger role in this offense, and he solidifies himself as a, I'd say, borderline top 10 quarterback. Now, Cowboy fans will have him in their top 10. But everyone else, he'll be borderline. He'll be in that Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, Derek Carr range, to me, and anyone else that really looks at it objectively. But Dak Prescott will have this edge. He will likely be on a better team than all those other guys I just mentioned, except for maybe Carr and Mariota, depending on what they do this season. So there will be an argument for Dak to be better than those guys, but just better, like not in a different tier. He won't be in the Rodgers, Breeze, Brady tier, right? He's going to be in the tier just below with Mariota, Carr, Winston, Roethlisberger, that tier. We move on to Ezekiel Elliott. 310 carries, 1,480 yards, and 10 touchdowns. So Cowboy fans, some of y'all going to be pissed because y'all want me to have Elliott getting 17, 18, 19, 10 yards. Look, Adrian Peterson, we can agree. It might be the best running back, or we all can agree on this, is the best running back in the past 10 years. We can all agree upon that, right? Adrian Peterson never had back-to-back 1,500 plus rushing yard performances, ever. This is Adrian Peterson. Now, he never had this Cowboys offensive line, but if Adrian Peterson never did that, I have a tough time scheduling Ezekiel Elliott to do that. As a great Hall of Fame running back in the NFL, you don't have to have every single year getting 15 plus 100 yards. You're going to have some years where you scale back to 14 or 1,300. You'll still be great. Okay, so this is not an indictment against Ezekiel Elliott. After this year, maybe he'll bounce back next year and break 2,000. There's gonna be a bit of a decline, but that doesn't mean as a player that he's declined. Okay, so just make that distinction in your own head. Dez Bryant, 65 catches, 900 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I think he's done breaking over 1,000 yards, and I could be wrong on this, but I can't project it. I can't project Dez to be healthy right now. I just can't do 2 years in a row now. Hasn't been healthy. I can't say, okay, it's over now. He's going to be healthy. I just can't do it. Some bold predictions for this football team. Cowboys finish the year 1-3. Their last 4 games at the New York Giants, to me, that's an L. Cowboy fans, they swept you last year, okay? So that's an L. We look at the next game at the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders, to me, will take a step down, but at Oakland, to me, this is an L. Versus Seattle. You know, to me, I have this as a W, but this could be an L. And at Philadelphia will be tough. This will be the best they will be this season because, you know, for Philadelphia, their trajectory is going to be, they're going to be their best at the end of the season, right? When Carson Wentz is at the end of his year and Alshon Jeffrey and him have the best chemistry they're going to have all year, this is the best Philly's going to be week 17 at Philly. This is an L to me. Now, we can disagree on the distribution here, but what we can agree upon is it's probably going to be 1-3. Maybe you lose to Seattle, but you beat Oakland. Maybe you beat Seattle and Oakland, but you lose to Philly and New York, and you go 2-2. But to me, it looks like it's going to be 1-3. It could be 0-4 because all four of these teams can make the playoffs. Okay, and you have 3 out of these 4 being on the road. This is dangerous. It's a 1-3 finish for the Dallas Cowboys. Bold prediction number 2. Taco Charlton leads this team in sacks. This may not be the biggest accomplishment because you may only need like 7 or 8 sacks to do so, but I think he'll lead this team in sacks. I haven't heard much rumblings out of Taco Charlton this training camp though, which is surprising, but I think he'll step up. And bold prediction number 3, the Cowboys return to the playoffs. Maybe it's not too bold to a lot of you Cowboy fans, but to everyone else, it is a bit bold because people expect the Cowboys to really take a step back and to miss the playoffs this season. I'm saying no. They will be back in the playoffs. I'm buying into the Cowboys, and mainly I'm buying into Dak Prescott. We look at the schedule for the Dallas Cowboys this season. Yet again, you're in the NFC East. Now, I do not think you will get swept by the Giants again. I have it being a split. I think you beat them week 1. I think they beat you in New York week 14. Okay, Redskins, split. Why? Because it almost always is, okay? For some reason, you're always going to lose to them pretty much every year. And I mean, not every single year, but pretty much every year. And the Redskins will still be quite dangerous this year. I mean, Terrell Pryor over there now, he's making plays. You still have Josh Norman talking like a clown. They're going to be a bit of an issue. And Philly, to me, is better. They beat you last year. You didn't care about that game, but they beat you last year. And now they're going to be better, okay? So to me, it's 3-3. And I could be wrong on this because I think I'm going to pick every single team in this division to split, and that's not what's going to happen. But I think that's the safest thing to project when looking at the NFC East. This is what I believe. We move on to the AFC West, whom the Cowboys also go up against. You go at Denver, which I do not love, and you also go at Oakland, which I referred to earlier. Don't love those matchups, but you host the Chargers and you host the Chiefs. But this is a tough division. I mean, this is a tough division. You know, to me, you can only hope for 3-1. I mean, I don't think you can hope for 4-0 against this division. They're a tough division. Even hosting the teams is not easy to do. The Chargers can come on the road and upset. They've done it before. They can do it again, especially being a Thursday night game as it is. So to me, it's concerning. I have it down as 3-1, but it could easily be 2-2 or even 1-3. So look out for that. You also look at the NFC West. Okay, and this is the nice one for you because you go to San Francisco, but that's not a problem. You host the LA Rams, you host the Seahawks. The Seahawks are dangerous on the road, but I think you can handle them, as I referred to earlier. And you guys also go to Arizona, which is not ideal. To me, it's 3-1 again. You know, I think it's safe to say you'll lose to Arizona, but you'll beat the other teams. Or maybe you beat Arizona, but you lose to Seattle or something like that. So we'll look out for that. And then you guys also go up against the teams that finished concurrently with you in the NFC. And that would be the Green Bay Packers week 5. You're hosting them. And that would also be the NFC South winner in the Atlanta Falcons, whom you visit in week 10. I think you split. And I don't care what the split is. Maybe you'll beat Atlanta, but you'll lose to Green Bay, or vice versa. I don't care. I say split. We move on to my win-loss predictions for this team. Best case scenario, 13-3 again. I can see the Cowboys being just as dominant as they were last season. If Jalen Smith arrives on the scene, makes a huge impact. You see the rookie Taco Charlton make an impact. Jordan Lewis make an impact. And Jordan Lewis and Chidobe Awuzie, and they are able to replace Brandon Carr and Morris Claiborne. Well, no problem. Cowboys still go 13-3. No sophomore slumps for Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. Worst case scenario, to me, it's 8-8. Because although I do have faith in Elliott and Prescott, we have seen the sophomore slump before. It is real and it's something to look out for. Perhaps Dak Prescott and Elliott will suffer victims to the sophomore slump. And if that's the case, I said worst case scenario is 8-8, but it could be worse than this. Did anyone see the Redskins going 3-13 the year after RG3's rookie year? No one saw that, and yet that's what the hell happened. I got my eye on this. I don't think it's going to happen because I have faith in Dak, but I'm looking out for that. I could have easily picked the Cowboys to win 11 or 12 games, but I want to play it a little safe with this team because I think it's a bit dangerous to go all in on this team right now. I think the NFC East is tougher. I think the Eagles improved. I think the Giants improved a little bit. And the Redskins, they stayed about the same. The schedule got harder, and I have to prepare myself for certain sophomore slumps. But I have faith in Dak. I think the thing about the Cowboys that I really like is I think they're winners. I think Dak is a winner. I think Ezekiel Elliott is a winner. I think Jason Garrett is a pretty good win. I think they're a winning franchise now. I think they're a Super Bowl contender. But I had to protect myself a little bit, so I can only go as high as 10-6. But I expect this team to make the playoffs and really compete for the Super Bowl this season. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. Check out SFV on all of our social media links down in the description box below. Check out the article previewing the Dallas Cowboys. Link will be down in the description box below. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment. And I'm out. See you all later.